My name is Olivia Grimsley, and this is my blog on the Persuasive Project. To start, my proposition of policy thesis statement is that the Montana public school system should implement mental health education into the curriculum for all students. How this topic came to mind was I have a little sister who is in 3rd grade, and we were talking about seeing the counselor and what the counselor is for. And I was able to see that nothing against her school, but the school was implementing mental health issues and seeing a counselor with a negative connotation. So that is what brought up this idea for the project. The only other perspectives that I considered when talking about this subject was whether it was the school system, adding it to the curriculum, or having outside sources come in and speak to the school. And I thought that having it in the curriculum, it was more repetitive, and I agreed with that system more. The organization I chose to enact change is the Montana public school system, and the most challenging part was figuring out how the education would be added, whether it was going to be by teachers that were already in the school or having outside sources come into the school. How I'm going to set up this is first going to be my attention getter. I think I'm going to start by stating statistics of the numbers of mental health cases in adults in Montana, and Montana has a very large number. And I'm going to add on to that number by saying the number of cases in youth, and that's going to provide the punch, I think, when the number is going to be so huge, and people almost personally do not see mental health affecting that younger age group. We always see statistics of adults, so I think adding the punch of the number of youth being just as big as the number of adults will really grab people's attention. The problem and need, I'm going to focus on the problem is that mental health is only brought up to kids in Montana that need it. You only see the counselor to get help with your mental health when you need it, and in schools it's not educated as a whole. So the only students that are learning about mental health are students that the teacher reached out to the counselor and stated these are the group of students that need the help, and they're the only ones that are being educated on it. And I think the problem is that, how I stated before, the problem is mental health is treated in a negative connotation in these elementary, middle school, even high school areas, because instead of being taught like math as a whole, students are getting categorized as the ones that need mental health help that are going to the counselor. So that's also a need, is we need to teach it as a whole. So the solution is adding it to curriculum and the education together. I plan on providing research from Montana State University, which is a local university in Montana, on successful trials that they have had by bringing in outsiders to speak on mental health issues within that school, and the increase in positive results that the schools have got. I think there were 12 educators, so I want to talk about that research. I will also reflect on the benefits of teaching as a whole so that students aren't left out, and how we will see an increased number of positive mental health cases as everyone is getting help, not just the ones that are seen having the issues. I will also use data providing that students are more successful in school when they have a healthy mental health. There was a really good research, I believe, in Canada that I want to reflect on, where students overall they just learned better and were more focused in school when they had healthy mental health. Results, I want to show that looking or adding mental health in the future will overall help cases. Looking at mental health in the future and providing the help for the children to help the adults as it grows, I think that is where I want to add that. The action, I want to tell my audience to reach out to school boards, reach out to educators, and inform them that the benefits of having mental health taught in schools and relating them to our huge number of adults with mental health issues, the way to educate them first is in a school system, something that everyone goes through, homeschool system. If it's in the curriculum, it's going to be taught at every different area of school, whether it's online school, homeschool, public schools, but starting it in the public school system and having it in the curriculum is teaching them as a whole before they get out into the real world. So I think that the number one thing to decrease the numbers of adults with mental health issues is starting it by educating and it being not a negative connotation, teaching it in a positive way in curriculum. Thanks.